if anyone's in a particularly frustrated mood, apart from me. She turned to look at him then. What are you frustrated about? We've learned something at least. He was standing very still, his stormy eyes watchful, his face remote. You're the one who's gotten so smart, all of a sudden, Maggie. You think about it. If that's your twisted version of a come-on, Randall, Maggie said, her face flushed, then you have a hell of a lot of nerve. Did you ever doubt it? He countered. Let's get back to the party. And turning his back on her, he strode from the office, heading back down the long, narrow hallways. She watched him walk away from her, watched him leave her without a backward glance, as he'd done so long ago in Gamansk. And closing the door lightly behind her, she followed him. In the crowd, the level of noise and smoke and heat had risen appreciably in the 10 or 15 minutes they had been gone to check out Caleb's office. Maggie peered through the mingling people, all dressed soberly in black and dark blue, searching for her sister. Oh, my God, she breathed suddenly. Mother. She could feel Randall's start of interest. Sybil Bennett? Where? Look for the biggest crowd of men, Maggie said wryly, and Sybil's in the middle of it. At that moment, Sybil Bennett caught sight of her oldest, tallest daughter, and her wonderfully husky voice, still with an enchanting trace of British accent, cut across the hubbub. Maggie, darling, she cried, and the hordes of young and not-so-young men parted like the Red Sea, leaving a narrow path between Maggie and her mother. A wry smile lit her face as she surveyed her mother for the first time in almost 6 months. Sybil Bennett looked as glorious as ever, decades younger than her 54 years. Her perfect heart-shaped face was unlined, her raven hair was cleverly unmarred by nasty gray hairs, and her petite, lush figure was perfectly maintained. The famous aquamarine eyes looked up at her daughter's matching ones, and a beatific smile made the angelic face even more beautiful. Maggie, darling, she said again, holding out her silk-clad arms. Come to me. Ever the actress, Maggie thought, dutifully obeying her mother and crossing the crowded room. Everyone's eyes were on her. Sybil knew how to set a scene to her best advantage, and Maggie'd learned long ago not to mind. Kate was a different matter. She stood on the sidelines, watching with a troubled expression on her face, then joined Maggie and Sybil. Sweetheart. Sybil enfolded her into her scented arms. With a wave of her hand, she dismissed her admirers, and they faded away reluctantly, leaving the 3 Bennett women alone in the crowd. Sybil drew back and surveyed her eldest daughter with a critical eye. You're too tired, Maggie. And that dress is an abomination. Thanks, Kate muttered. Is it yours, darling? Sybil was instantly all charming contrition. It probably looks wonderful on you, but Maggie needs something more dramatic, more je ne sais quoi, to go with her spectacular looks. I would have given anything to be a foot taller, she added sadly, and Kate groaned. I think 5'1" of Sybil Bennett is about all the world can take, she said, and Sybil flashed her a brilliant smile. Do you think so, darling? You're probably right. I can be a bit overwhelming. Speaking of overwhelming, Maggie, dear, who is that magnificent man lurking behind you? Maggie couldn't squash the laughter that bubbled forth at the thought of Randall lurking. She should have known he wouldn't take his dismissal lightly. Randall Carter, Sybil Bennett, she said. Sybil's face lit up. So you're Randall Carter. What the hell do you mean by that, Mother? Maggie demanded, her tolerant good humor vanishing. By what? Sybil said, taking Randall's hand and gazing up at him soulfully. At least Randall didn't appear to be taken in by her. He was smiling down at her. The cynical expression in his eyes showed that he saw straight through Sybil's well-executed artifice. How did you hear about Randall? She pursued, and Randall turned his attention back from her mother, his smile broadening. Oh, one hears things, Sybil said innocently. Maggie wasn't fooled for a moment, but now wasn't the time to try to pin her butterfly of a mother down. Can we leave this depressing party? I've always found cocktail parties loathsome. Then why do you go to so many? Kate demanded. They're a necessary evil, darling. Let's go pick up Chrissy and go back to my hotel. Queenie can't wait to see her. She's waited so long to be a grandmother. Sybil, you're the grandmother.